Hello and welcome to the Two Ace Podcast, the podcast designed to help you manifest your Two Ace mindset. My name is Josh Brooks and my one focus is success through the art of discipline and flow. I hope you enjoy the episode. Now let's get right into it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you are joining me. I hope you're having a good one. And today I'm going to be talking about an evening routine. Now, an evening routine I find to be very important. Now, having an evening routine, it allows you to stop procrastination. It allows you to go to bed at a certain time to ensure that you wake up at a certain time the next day and you're ready for action in that day. Now, an evening routine, a lot of people like to sort of chill out in the evening and just sort of, watch TV, go on the phone, watch Netflix or fall asleep watching YouTube or whatever, something like that. I don't know. I used to do that. But I find that having an evening routine, it sets not only you up for the night, but it sets you up for the next day. It allows you to reflect upon your day, reflect upon what you've done, what you've achieved, what you've learnt, and what you can improve or what you need to do the following day. So in the morning, you can just get up and go. Now, an evening routine, it can be as long or as short as you like. It can vary from 5 minutes to half an hour. It doesn't really matter, or longer. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to do, as long as it's consistent. Now, examples of evening routine activities that you could do are things like, have like a warm shower before bed. You could read a book. You could do a certain period of time without any screen activity, to reduce that blue light engagement before you go to sleep. Now, I'll go through the example of my evening routine, which I've been doing for a while now, and I find it really good. I genuinely love doing it. I find it really beneficial for me in my next day. And I like being able to reflect upon my day and just be ready. And some of the things that I do now, that they just become second nature. Like I don't see the end of my day being complete without doing these things, and I just do it automatically at this point. So my evening routine, I call it my ER, is how I note it. So it used to start at 8:30, but now I go to bed a bit earlier. It starts at 7, so I have my evening routine alarm at 7. Sometimes I do it before, if I don't get home from uni until late or work or wherever I am. It does start a little bit earlier or later, depending on the day. But as long as I remain consistent in doing the activities, it doesn't really matter because of how I think sophisticated is a good word to describe it. So my evening routine consists of three core things. So it's my next day plan, or NDP as I like to call it. I read and I journal. So let's say my alarm goes off at 7:00 p.m. So, right, what do I need to do? I need to do my NDP. So my next day plan consists of writing out what I need to do the next day, the priority list of what I need to do. So I used to do this on my phone, and I would recommend doing it on your phone at first. So you're right. Next day, evening routine, next day plan. Boom. What do I need to do in this next day? So I started off by writing all the activities that I needed to do. I didn't necessarily think of it in a chronological order. I just thought, right, what do I need to do in this next day in order to make them improvements and make the necessary steps in order to do what I need to do. Sometimes days might have nothing that you need to do, so then you can select things that you want to do. Like I said, it's very personal. Do whatever you want. But yeah, my next day plan. So I would say, right, we'll do today. So on mine, I've got my to do. So I've got my morning routine. I've got my trading study. I've got 2 weeks content. I've got have some breakfast, go to my lectures, have some lunch, go to the gym, do some revision for uni because I've got exams coming up, and then have tea, and then do my evening routine. Now, that is written on my whiteboard now because I find it a lot better to visualize it and just have it in my room right there, so that I don't have to go on my phone to look at it. Because I used to have it in my notes, and also my next day plan now consists of putting alarms in place. So once you've established what you need to do the next day, you then need to work out the order in which you need to do it. So, you might need to wake up at this time in order to do this, and then this, and then this, and this. But sometimes, you might have to work backwards. Okay, well, so I want to be having tea at this time. So that means before tea, I need to do this, and then this, and then this. So how I work or used to start doing it is I would figure out which bit of the day I want to sort of just have a little bit of time to myself and chill. Just to like breathe a little bit, in the day when you can. It's nice to just do a little bit of nothing. Select a bit of time to do nothing. So, maybe that's in the evening. So while you're having tea or just after tea, you can sit for a bit and be like, okay, cool. So then I would work out what I need to do in the day, put times for that. So then I would maybe work backwards, maybe work forwards, whatever works for you. So let's say you set your morning alarm. Set your morning alarm. Set your wake up alarm. So like wake up. Most people snooze. So then I set another alarm that says get up or let there be light. So I either open a window if it's summer, or I turn on my light, and then I sit up and I wake up and I just sort of sit there for a little minute. This is the bit where I like to do a bit of nothing, and I just sit there in the morning and it's just like silent. It's just like, right, okay, I'm awake. I'm not awake. I'm awake. I'm awake. No, I'm not awake. Oh. And then maybe you fall back asleep for a bit. Then the second alarm goes off because you can predict yourself, and it says wake up or move or something like that. So, for example, this morning I had my first alarm at 4:30. My second, so that said wake up. My second alarm at 4:35, which said let there be light. So I turned on my light, and then I had my third alarm at 4:45, or no, it was 4:50, which said morning routine, so MR, which I'll do another episode on. And then I had at 5 move, in case I start procrastinating, or in case like just something happened. But I do usually move at 4:50. So then at that time, I'd then do my morning routine. So I'd do my daily affirmations, I'd get in the ice bath, or go for a run, then get in the ice bath. And then I'd come back, stretch, do some meditation, and then I would sit down and do some studying in front of the charts, and I'd see if there's a trade, I'd do some reading. And yeah, that's my morning routine. And that is part of that. And I would have my alarm set for when I need to sit down at my desk. That's at 6 a.m. in order for me to do my trading study. And then I would have another alarm about an hour later to record a podcast episode. And then I would have another alarm about an hour and a half later, depending on how long I think the episode is going to be the night before. So then I would plan what time, I think that having breakfast would be, and, that might vary on what I need to do next. Like if I have a 9 a.m. lecture, I'm unable to have breakfast at 8:30, I'll have to have it at 8. And doing this the night before in the evening routine is really beneficial. So then you can get up and go the next day. You don't have to think about what you need to do. And I just remembered, actually, this is another thing, and it's become second nature now, is before I even plan my next day, I put out the clothes that I need to. So I put out underwear, I put out joggers, I put out jeans, whatever I want to wear the next day, t-shirt, jumper. So then in the morning, I don't need to think about what I'm going to wear. It's reducing the cognitive load of the next morning by doing it the night before. Anyway, moving on. So I've set my alarms for the next day. Anything I need to do, I've just done the example of the morning, and then you can work out the rest. I've got the example for when I need to leave for the gym, when I need to leave for lectures, what time I have for lunch, what time I have tea, what time I need to do my evening routine again. And that brings us on to the next part I do after my NDP, which is I read. So I read a chapter or 10 pages, depending on what I'm feeling. Sometimes I read more, sometimes I read less, but the idea is generally I read 10 pages minimum of whatever book I'm reading. At the moment, it's Best Loser Wins, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really finished with it, and I'm really excited to put what I've learned into action. And yeah, it's going really well. And then I journal after I read. So, like I said before, journaling is a pretty nice way of outputting. I've explained all this in the previous episode on journaling, so feel free to go and listen to that if you want a more detailed description of journaling. And yeah, so that is my evening routine really. So I would highly recommend having yourself an evening routine. It doesn't have to be as in depth as my one, because you might not want to do as many things, or you might not have as many things to do, or you might even be busier. Like, fair play, it is kind of crazy waking up at 4:30. I don't expect anyone to do that, but it is pretty majestic waking up that early. So I would recommend, but you can be normal and wake up about 7 and still manage to do all these things. But like I said, it's all personal. It's all what you want to do. Evening routine could just be simple as stretch before bed. Do a little bit of mindfulness, bit of meditation, do a bit of reading, do a bit of journaling, whatever. It could take 5 minutes, could take half an hour, or longer, or shorter, or whatever. I just think and would recommend that having an evening routine and preparing yourself for the next day, as well as reflecting on the previous day, is incredibly important in remaining consistent and achieving your dreams. And with that, I've been your host, Josh. 2 Ace, 1 Focus.